Hi. I understand that you are here today to plan a trip to Greece. Okay. Well, Greece is one of my favorite places, so I'm very happy to help you with that today. So before we get started, Greece has a lot of different areas, so I'm gonna kind of go over some of those areas with you and then kind of decide, we'll kind of zone in a little bit on what area you would like to go to and maybe even choose some islands today. So Greece has around 6,000 islands, and about 227 of them are inhabited. So it's a very unique European continent, but they have lots of different landforms. Like they've got some bays, sandy beaches, sand dunes, pebble beaches, caves, many mountains, and the beaches there are beautiful. So it's kind of up to you to kind of decide what do you want to do and where would you want to go. So there's also lots of history in Greece, so depending on if you're interested in that, you could certainly do that too. So I'm going to kind of go show you this map here and kind of explain where these regions are and kind of tell you a little bit about them, and then maybe we can kind of zone in on one of the regions depending on maybe if you've done some research or just based on what you think you might want to do. Okay, so most of the islands are found in this area. Okay, so and it's kind of divided into 7 different groups. So we have the northeastern part over here. Down here we have the Sporades down here. And then over here we have the Evia section. And then we have the islands of Argos Saronic right here. And the Cyclades right here. And this is where most people will go. There's actually it's actually a group of 56 islands, so there's lots of different types of islands that you could go and see and lots of things to do there. Personally, I would recommend going that route, just because this will be your first time to Greece, so I would kind of maybe look there. Another great area might be Crete. That it's almost like its own little country, but that would be a good island to go explore. They've got lots of things to do there, especially if you're like adventurous or even if you just want to sit on a beach. If you're a foodie, you're gonna go there too. And then there's Athens, but I know that you said that you're planning on flying into Athens, so you'll stay a day, but you need help more with the island choosing. Okay, so let's see here. So I'm just gonna have you kind of read over this a little bit and then kind of think about where you might want to go, and then depending on that, I'll grab some information about that area. So go ahead and take a look here. you're thinking maybe the Cyclades to start, and then Crete you would be interested in? Okay. So I'm going to kind of give you just some brief information about some of the more popular islands, but you don't have to choose these. You can certainly go and do some more research just on the Cyclades Islands, and if you see anything else, I can help you with that planning. Okay, so if we see here, here are just some of the more popular ones. So if we look here, this is probably the most touristic island, Santorini, and in this island, it's known for its famous sunset and those white buildings on the mountain peak. So let's see here. So if you were to go to Santorini, that would be easy to do from Athens. You can either fly, it's only 45 minutes by plane, or you could take a ferry, and the high-speed ferry takes about 5 hours to get to, but it's a very cool experience to go on the ferries. But if you wanted to do something quicker, you might want to do the plane if you're limited on time. There are also slower ferries for cheaper, and they take about 8 hours. They're a bit cheaper, but it's around $85 round trip, so that would get you there and back. And if you choose that route, I have some recommendations for ferries for you too. Okay, so I think it's very important if you go to Santorini just to kind of talk about what are some of the things to do. So Santorini has beautiful views there. I would say it's more of a kind of relax at your own pool type of island. The beaches there, I wouldn't say are some of the best, but they do have beaches. But there are some archaeological museums. There's the Museum of Prehistoric Era, the Minoan Bronze Age ruins, and there's also the famous Santorini volcano. So if you were to go that route, I would recommend a boat trip to the island. Okay. And there are many places to stay. I would recommend either Vera, Imoragi, or Ia. And they're just very traditional villages, and they have very pretty views of the volcano and seeing all the buildings. So I'm actually going to kind of show you some if you are interested in Santorini. I'll show you some pictures of those later, depending on if you choose that island. The next island is Mykonos. So here's just kind of a photograph of it. Let's see. So Mykonos is one of the more popular islands as well. Mykonos Town is a very charming town there. So if you are looking for that charm, it's got those cobblestone and everything's painted white and there's flowers everywhere. I would recommend that. It's also got very nice hotels. And the cool thing about Mykonos is that there's beaches surrounding the island. So if you like more of a party scene, you could go do that. Or if you like more of a relaxing scene, you could go. There's beaches for everyone there. Same thing there. If you want to get to Mykonos, you're going to take a flight, and that's about 40 minutes. Or you can take a ferry. there's fast ferries and there are slower ferries. So the fast ferries will take about 2.5 hours, and the slower ferries take around 5 hours. But I would say that Mykonos is more of an island if you want to just go relax on beaches and kind of see that charming town of Mykonos Town. It is very touristy though, just be aware of that. So we'll get to hotels after. Okay, so another island suggestion might be Paros. So Paros lies between Mykonos and Santorini, and it's larger in size, but it gets fewer visitors. So if you're not looking for a super crowded island, this might be a good one. It feels more laid back and it's also cheaper. But it's still very beachy, and the beaches here are much nicer than on Santorini. But it is still one of the popular ones, but it won't be as crowded as Mykonos and Santorini. Same thing, you can take a flight or a ferry. And what to do there, Paros also has a big party scene, but it has also lots of water activities like kite surfing and windsurfing. And beach hopping is also a main activity, so if you're looking for a beach, you might want to do that too. Any questions so far? Okay, so you really liked Mykonos and Santorini. Okay, I'll write that down. I'm gonna go over a few more with you, and then I'm not gonna go over the ones that are not in the Cyclades, because I know you want to focus in that area. So I'm going to go over a few more, and then we can kind of narrow it down to what you would want to do. So the next island that we're going to talk about is Naxos. And Naxos is east of Paros, and it's actually the largest island of the Cyclades. Paros and Naxos have a lot in common. So they both have nice beaches. And Naxos is more mountainous and more villages to visit. But it has slightly less tourism development and nightlife. So if you're looking for beaches, I would say Naxos might be more family friendly if you want to go that route. But because it's not as touristy, there's less flights that go there, so they might be more expensive. And there's also less ferries that would go there compared to Santorini, Mykonos, and Paros. So this island would probably be good if you want to just kind of go to the beaches and you're not really into party scene and you don't want to deal with the tourism that are in the other islands. Okay, so the next one that we're going to talk about, so we'll talk about two more, and then I'll kind of let you read over some of the descriptions, and then you can kind of narrow in to what islands you want to go to. So Ios is another island in this area, and it's south of Paros, and it's just north of Santorini. So it actually has a pretty big party scene there, so if you're looking for that. And Ios is also very popular for beaches. So they have pretty beaches and they have a party scene if you're looking for that. There is not an airport there, so you would have to either fly to Paros or fly to Santorini and probably take a ferry from Santorini to Ios. So I would say that it has, if you're looking for nightlife and beaches, it's also got some ruins there if you would be interested in that. Okay, and then the last Greek island that we're going to talk about, I know that you said you were interested in Crete. So Crete is one of the most budget-friendly islands, and it is the largest. So if you wanted to stay there longer, that would be a good idea, and there's much more to do there too, so I would recommend that. The food is cheaper, and it has a lot to do. So there's hiking, there is lots of beaches, shopping, things like that you might be interested in. You can fly there, or you can take a ferry, so either one. Some of the things that you might be interested in there are Knossos. It's a historical place, historical ruins of, they don't really know the exact history. There's many different thoughts on it, but historical ruins of, it's supposed to be known as like a king used to live there, or an old palace. So let me see what else is important to touch on. If you were to stay there, I would recommend staying in Ania or Herculaneum. That is the capital. It would be easier to travel that way. So another thing is they have a very popular national park called Samara Gorge, if you're interested in that. So I would like you to take a look at kind of these and kind of narrow it down, maybe narrow it down to your top 3 islands, and then we can kind of go over those, and if you want to add more or if you want to add less. But I wouldn't, since you're going for 2 weeks, I wouldn't recommend doing much longer than much more than 3 islands. And you're also going to stop in Athens, so I would say don't do anything more than 3 islands, because then you won't feel like you have enough time on them, I don't think. Okay, so go ahead and look at these, kind of just some descriptions and things to do, how you might get there. So you know that you definitely want to do Crete. Okay. You want to do Mykonos. Okay. Not Eos, because you feel like Eos is similar to Mykonos. Okay. And then Santorini. Okay. So we'll kind of focus on those, and if you change your mind, that's okay. We can always dive deeper. I'm just going to kind of show you some different photographs of things that you might be interested in. Okay? So, well, first, something that you must do in Greece is try the food. It's amazing. So, let me show you. So this is chicken souvlaki plate. So I would definitely recommend going somewhere and trying that. Many places in Greece will have that. So, and I feel like even if you didn't even know where to go, if you go to any of them, I feel like it would just be good quality. Definitely try the gyros, a Greek salad. They've got awesome gelato too, and they have some good seafood as well where you can watch some views. So I would recommend just trying all of those things. If you want to get more deeper into that next time we talk, we can. Okay. So I'm gonna start by showing you just some photographs. This is from Mykonos. So these are just some different things that you might want to go do. So if you see anything, let me know. Or if you look at these photos and you're like, oh, I don't really want to go there anymore, let me know. Okay. So Mykonos has lots and lots of beaches. There are many on the north and the south side, and they are very different. So I'm just gonna kind of show you. This is a beach on the north side. So the northern beaches are more private. So if you're looking for more of a private area, that might be good too. These are kind of what Mykonos Town looks like. So you can see the white cobblestone, the white buildings, lots of flowers. If you're into that kind of charming look and you want to go explore that would be good. Another picture of Mykonos Town. Another. And another. Okay, and then this is Mykonos Town. It's kind of like the port area. Here is Here's a photograph of a famous area in Mykonos Town. It's called Little Venice. So if you wanted, you could go eat over here, but it is very touristy. And then this is one of the more famous beaches, Paradise Beach. So if you're into partying, that might be somewhere where you go. If not, you can totally skip that. I would recommend just going and seeing it. Just stay there. Okay, so that was Mykonos. Now I'm gonna show you some photographs from Crete, because you said you were interested in that. So one of the cool things that you can do is you can hike Samari Gorge. It's one of the largest gorges, and it was definitely a very, very cool experience, I would say. So I would recommend doing that. So here are some photographs of the gorge. They even have donkeys in there. Some more. And another one. Let's see if I have some more of them. But I would say if you're looking for that adventure, I would definitely choose Crete. If you want to do some hiking days and then kind of split up your hiking and beaches, it's perfect for it. And I think Crete has delicious food. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of show you some different beaches that you might go to in Crete. So a very popular beach is Elafonisi Beach, and can't really tell, but it's known for its pink sand. So I would recommend going there for sure. And let's see, here's another photograph of it. You can see it's hard to see the pink. Here's another photo of Elafonisi. If you go to Greece, just be careful with the driving too. If you're gonna rent a car, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can always take like buses. Okay, and then another beach that I would definitely recommend is Palos Beach. So here's a photograph of it. Another one. And then the other side. And then here's just another beach that we went to at the end of our Samara Gorge hike. And then if you're into history and ruins, you could go to the Palace of Knossos, which is some photographs. The photographs don't do it justice, though, I would say. So you have to see it. And then the charming town of Hania. I would recommend staying in this town. It's just a very walkable town. It's very neat. And then here's a photograph of Ergoline. I don't really have one of the city, but you could go visit this port and see that site. And then the last island you said was Santorini. Okay, so let's see here. Grab those. So there is, I found this island very touristy, but it is just something that if you go to Greece, I feel like you should see. So there's a famous bay there. It's called Amauri Bay, and this is in Ia. So here are some of the stairs that you take down, and like the famous donkeys you could see there too. And here's another photograph of Amauri Bay. I recommend going there for sure. Here is some photographs of Ia. So if you go to Santorini, definitely go spend some time walking through Ia. Maybe sometime in the morning, I would say, because it gets kind of crowded when there are people coming from cruises. But here's just kind of the famous Santorini photo that you see. Another one. Just some more. Here is a picture of Amauri Bay from above, if you're interested in that. Just some more pictures of it. And this is Fiera. So that's another area you could stay. I believe that is where most people stay. And here's another photograph of Fiera, and this is from Ia. It's looking at Fiera. So I would recommend for going to Santorini, staying in either Fiera or Ia. I have heard from people who have stayed kind of on the other side of the island that they didn't really enjoy it. So if you're gonna go, I would kind of splurge and make sure that you're staying in a good location. Recommend. But do you have any questions? No? Sure? Okay, well, if you have more questions about this, or if you change your mind, you go home and you research about Mykonos and you're like, I don't want to do that, I want to do something else, come back and we can talk about it. Okay? Awesome. Right, well, thank you for coming today. I hope that this was helpful for you and you just go home and think about what you want to do. It is a big trip. I'll see you next time. Bye.